Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining our Why Not Results podcast. I'm really excited, you old dogs out there. You might want to listen up because here's some young guns who have got some really great ideas and helping guys like me understand what we're missing out on in the world, whether it be AI, e-commerce, live streaming, good footage. There's so much to it. And so I'm very proud to be surrounded by some really brilliant minds and introduce everybody to Olivia Jones, who's going to be our e-commerce specialist and teach us a lot today. So hope you enjoy the show and talk soon.
What that entailed and what you kind of learned from that, I guess, would be something that at least I'm interested in.
Yeah,
to know.
100%. So first off, I started on the paid media team. So the paid media team as a whole was in charge of any kind of paid media. So the Google ads, the TV placements, like all media buying and that side of things was the paid media side. Not so much the production of it, but more the analytics, the buying, the backside of things there, logistics of it all.
Good to know.
Yeah, it was super great learning experience. I am no expert on that whatsoever.
So hard.
My role was on the affiliate marketing side, so communicating with different publications about getting the PetSmart products put onto their articles and their lists, that kind of thing, as well as SEO was part of the paid media team as well. So I was on some of the SEO projects for the PetSmart site as they were transitioning from an old site over to a new site and getting everything all modernized.
Was that here in Phoenix? Were you working here in Phoenix? Okay.
Yep, their corporate office is up in North Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's dog friendly. I got to bring my dog with me to work every day.
Makes total sense.
People bringing in guinea pigs and stuff,
there were snakes,
different
there were
animals all the
bunnies, there were
time.
cats, there were all sorts of
So they're just
animals.
pet friendly.
Yeah, which it's interesting because the only reason I know is because, like I said, my dad worked there for a
I
long
wanna work
time.
at PetSmart.
It was pretty cool, and they had some fun events. I don't know what the layout of the area is anymore because it's been a while since I was over there, but it's over by like is that Harkins or AMC?
It's right off like the 51, I want to say. I'm no geographer.
No, it's like around a lot of stuff though, so it's in a pretty cool spot. It's easy to get
Right by
to.
Desert Ridge.
Yeah, and it's just like an interesting. Yeah, PetSmart. My dad really liked working at PetSmart. It more or less was just wanted to go in a different direction with his own personal business, and he left. But has always talked good about it. Has always liked it. It's always been one of those where there were plenty of times he brought me into work, brought our family into work, and it was there's just 20 dogs.
You're
and
sitting in a conference
guinea
room and there's
pigs.
dogs
Yeah,
just
you have to like label out dog treats versus like treats for humans for people. Like, people would think like if you had like certain, my dad would have like certain things that like people would give their dogs or whatever, and other people would eat those accidentally. Thinking like, they're like a mint or something like that. And in reality, it's
We
like
need more of that here.
dog biscuits.
Maybe we'll just start with an iguana. Just sits out in the corner or something.
Just let it chill
Dog
in
friendly
here.
studio.
Buddy used to bring his French, those little French bulldogs?
Bulldogs, yeah.
Yeah, it was cute, man. It was so adorable, but he was a chewer, so we didn't want him in here too often.
Understandably.
So I'm kind of curious because I've never been part of large corporate America, and I would argue that PetSmart's got to be pretty in that group. So how big was the marketing team for a company like PetSmart?
Very,
Here.
very big.
Of
There,
course.
I want to say like at least 150, 200 if you're counting like the digital side of things. and
Is
then
that just the
people working-
local team, or is that the worldwide team?
I would, because we're headquarters here in Phoenix.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's just an estimation. I could be way off on that.
Yeah.
But I want to say it was probably over 100. Yeah.
Local.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm willing to bet they probably had some international
outside the
team outside to do some other things. Maybe not. I don't
Well,
know.
and across the U.S., I would think you have, again, like you said, headquarters
remote
here, but you
team
gotta
members.
have some remote. Especially, I would think probably with COVID, there's probably a lot of remote individuals now too, which would just increase by a lot too.
So it's really intriguing to me because being that guy who's trying to build a business and build a digital marketing team, think, oh, it's so easy. I'm just going to make some videos and put them out there on Facebook and get traffic and go do paid ads and go build a website and build landing pages and have the follow-up email campaigns and yada, 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 yada. I mean, so you little guys out there, don't feel bad that it's tough. Even the mid-sized businesses, it's tough. Yeah. All right, to really have the full team and understand it. Even though, as you know, I wish Jimmy was here to be part of this conversation too, because he's really opened my eyes to a lot of different parts of the conversion side of marketing, right, versus the top of funnel, and just the messaging is so different, right? And those videos and that footage that you're trying to do in those realms, it's just overwhelming.
Well, and like we said yesterday, I think like we talked about talking with Oleg, talking in the morning and on the show yesterday morning about it's hard already with how social media and that kind of realm of marketing and stuff is, let alone when they decide to change how they do things and you're adjusting in real time to a large adjustment, not like we saw with yesterday and Instagram announcing that the watermark thing, anything that has a watermark, like it's immediately not getting pushed. And it's like, there are individuals who are small creators and smaller businesses that they pull their clips directly from another thing, and you have watermarks on. That's a watermark on every single video you ever take away from, and you see having to adjust to that in real time. When you see different trends coming around, you're trying to adjust to those trends and adjusting to the phrasing of things. I think it's just one of those where it's difficult on your own, let alone difficult as a group. Like it's insane to think that there's people who are doing it in a very large group, 100 plus in a media team, and then you've got individuals like us where it's 3, 4, 5 of us trying to gauge all that at the same time, as well as then promote our own things and do our own things, then also take all those lessons we've learned from everyone else and apply them into our own stuff. So I think it's just interesting.
It's hella interesting. And then what you just brought up, AI. I mean, that is changing the game for all of us, right? Doesn't matter if it's on the video editing side, for the script creation side. I mean, it's just the content creation. And then I don't know how it's affecting the e-commerce world, but I would assume that it's affecting that immensely.
It is. One way that's just crazy is just AI generated designs and clothes and products and everything. Like AI will find exactly what people are buying right now and exactly what people like. Like right now, if you look on any site, it's bows all over everything. Everyone loves the girls, the bows in their hair and bows all over everything. But AI will super optimize that, realize everyone's buying bows. I'm going to make 1 million tech packs for all of these different clothes items and get them all produced in 2 weeks. And so humans, if you're not using the tools on your side, can't keep up with a company that's pushing out thousands of new designs a day, because historically that is just not something that's possible. So for small businesses, small creators, small people with brands, whether that's clothing is what I know because it's what I've worked in the past, but in anything, one human mind cannot come up with 1,000 ideas a day, but an AI can spit out 1,000 ideas a day optimized to what everybody's talking about on the web. So it's kind of like you have to get that in your corner, because obviously I think that people will always have a soft spot for things created by people, things created by small businesses, because the human element is something that AI can never replace. But it's hard to compete when there are machines out there.
That's not scalable either.
Creating.
That's the biggest problem. It's not scalable. So it kind of keeps those small little mom and pop creators kind of a little slave to the game for a lot of, I mean, it's just a smaller market, right? I mean, at the end of the day. So I don't know.
And we've talked about it multiple times about sometimes sales stuff. It's just a numbers game at some points. Like there's certain times where small businesses were like, it is just, they can't reach enough people because they don't have enough of the help or whatever reason. With AI, if you're a small business and you can, I think it's crazy because my dad's optimized a lot of his show stuff with it and with using AI and trying to figure out like, how do I use this as efficiently as possible? And then he's come to the realization that like anything is efficient. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. The AI is insanely efficient at it. So just throw stuff at it and you'll find something that you're like, oh, that's fire. I like that.
That's going to be the big challenge, right? Is us just learning these new AI tools and how they're applicable in each of our situations, right? Yeah, I'd never even thought about it from the perspective you just brought it up. Didn't even consider it, right? So that's probably one of many aspects in the e-commerce world that people are having to focus on. So it's going to be intriguing to see what happens. So, pretty soon you guys are going to have to start finding like 16-year-olds to teach you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're already old.
They're going to be
24 and already outdated.
They're going to be telling me like, did you know ChatGPT can actually create 19 million photos for you if you just ask it? Can you make me 19 million photos? I'd be like, dude, I didn't think of that actually. And like be astonished at the amount of stuff you get. I think it's interesting too, because in my head, we've seen the rise of membership things. Like that was not, when I was young, at least membership stuff was not when it came to like Netflix or it came to that stuff. Like Redbox is what I remember as a kid was getting Redbox movies and stuff like that. And I know ChatGPT has different levels of stuff.
Baby, Blockbuster. Old school.
ChatGPT has different levels of it. And my dad pays for a little bit more, like the team group one and stuff like that. And I think it'll be interesting to see. That's where my head goes with it. Cause I think of like, how does a ChatGPT, the team that is behind ChatGPT, cause I don't really know how that works, but what is that? How does that team amplify their their benefit? Yeah, how do they get it better? And then is that a membership thing? Is that what is that?
Everything's membership. Who doesn't want that residual monthly income?
Exactly.
But before we get you out of here and end this, I am kind of curious about your retail e-commerce business that you provide for businesses because we need it ourselves. So let's just ask a few questions pertaining to that. So is it something because you're talking about changing and making custom products using AI sometimes or not? So are you doing a lot of, so you can buy limited quantities of these things? I'm used to buying merch in larger quantities. So obviously larger quantity, the cheaper it is per unit, right? So what typically is your average order size? Are you doing one-off hats, one-off shirts?
Yeah, so
By the order?
I partner with a production company manufacturer that makes one-off pieces. So that's the benefit of it is a business doesn't have to keep inventory of a million sizes and a million colors of things.
That was a nightmare.
But we can offer a million sizes and a million colors of things because they're all made one-off. It does come with a trade-off of it takes 2 weeks to come instead of taking 1 week or having it in stock in the back. But for a business, having inventory costs a lot of money.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Whereas the setup costs for an online store where everything is made one-off order, there's no startup cost. It's free, basically. All that it takes is the labor of setting it all up and putting it all together. And then if you wanted to see any samples of what they look like or that kind of thing. But then also, it's way better for the environment. You're not creating a whole bunch of clothes that are going to sit in a warehouse somewhere that someone's not wearing for a period of time.
Do you know how many small shirts I still have from my restaurant?
I'd love one. It'd fit me perfect.
Sitting on a stack of them.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So they just sit around. They go unused. So when you're only making the things that people have already bought, you just save on a lot of space, a lot of time, a lot of money. So that is one of the benefits. There are, because of that, limits in the level of customization that you can do, as opposed to creating a full pattern for something. You're using a blank and then choosing the placements of where you want things printed. There's also limitations in the kind of decoration that you can do on it. Embroidery, you can do one-off just fine. There's digital printing techniques, you can do one-off just fine. Screen printing, they're not going to screen print something for a one-off because you have to physically make a screen. So it comes with limitations, but from a business perspective, being able to have an online store up and running in 3 days with no startup costs is kind of hard to
you can't beat that. No, we're signing up.
Awesome.
I want to do it. And just so to clarify, because obviously you need to get paid for your time. So how do you get compensated through this?
So as of right now, I set up the stores for free. That's what I'm offering on my side is I'll set up the store for you for free. I'll manage all the day-to-day operations when orders come in, getting them fulfilled, all of that kind of thing. And then we split the profits 50-50 is how I've been doing it so far because all you guys get to do is sit back and relax and let me sell stuff with your logo on it. Sorry. And then from my side, I put in the work to get the store up and running, manage the day-to-day customer questions, emails, that kind of stuff. And then everybody wins.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. More people, I'm sure, would like more small businesses. I mean, that's how the world's evolving. I guarantee you nobody knows that you're offering this.
Well, and
that there's companies out there, period, that offer something like that.
And the benefit to a business, like it's kind of an easy sell because it's like, hey, I'm going to do this for you for free.
Yeah,
you don't have to do
cash flow issues. That's the biggest problem with any small business is cash flow. So all of a sudden I'm not tying up $1,000 worth of shirt orders or hat orders. I mean, that's usually what we were having to do with our embroidered shirts. I mean, we'd order them in bulk just to try to get the price per unit way down. And then we're putting them in a closet. It was a nightmare.
100%. And then there's also no pressure on the performance of the store either, because obviously for some businesses, people are going to be buying shirts, hats, all the time. There's other businesses where they might have a month where they have a big customer base all coming in and have a bunch of sales, another month where there might be no sales. And so when it's all set up for free, nobody is woo or bummed. Obviously, woo if you're making money, but no one's bummed out if there's an off month or anything because it's all just extra. There's no money invested into it, so there's no, I guess, pressure to perform with it either. So it's just extra residual income for the business.
I would think you have requirements for a business to qualify for your services.
So right now, this is just little baby, so not yet, but someday, hopefully, that would be awesome.
Okay, well, hopefully we'd love to have you come back on more frequently and consistently, and even just help people understand the e-commerce world. I know I'm hell of intrigued by it, right? I don't understand it. You know, this WooCommerce and this, I just don't understand it. I'd love to, and I'm sure other people would too as well. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. Like Oscar's going to kind of help coach people on lighting and video tricks, camera tricks, and stuff like that. And Joe's going to be talking about various tricks on live streaming and whatnot. And I'm just going to be the dumb business guy in the middle. That's kind of like, here's where I'm confused. Help me out.
Not dumb.
Right. But I just kind of feel more. I'm focused more on that. Like I said, the cost side and what's going on, the fulfillment. How's that work? How are you getting paid by? So if you'd be willing to, we'd love to have you come back more frequently, just to coach people. Hey, this is how you can start your own e-commerce business. And if you don't want to do it, call me. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't.
It's a very similar model to kind of how we're trying to frame stuff of why not. Of, hey, if you don't want to set up a studio, get a team to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's our goal. That's our goal of what we're trying to do. We know the barrier of entry can be difficult with the learning curve and the understanding of lighting, of streaming, stuff like that. So
yeah, we're really just trying to help. We've figured out that we just want to create good footage for people and teach them how to use other CapCut and other things like that. Hey, go do the major editing yourself because you'll save a fortune. Yeah. Right? Come in here and get your footage done. Right? Because honestly, we want to work on our own bigger ideas anyways. Right? So it's kind of like we do certain things to a certain level to pay the bills. But beyond that, we really have our own personal passion projects and businesses that we want to build just like you.
Yeah, I would hope I'm working with Olivia soon too on my stuff, on my show.
Yeah.
I'll make you all sorts of cool stuff.
Create uncensored commentary, uncensored commentary products and stuff like that.
That's great. So this is, again, why I was excited to get you guys all to meet. So thanks for coming in from California. Thank you for showing up today.
Of course.
Because I know you're busy with open enrollment. So thank you so much for taking time for us. And Joe, well, thanks for being around too, buddy. Jump on the team. Not to,
Nah, it's cool.
Not
That's
to,
cool.
undersell you there, buddy. But, we're kind of getting around a little more often.
I'm down the street. It's all right.
Yeah. So, anyway, you've got to get going. It's about that time, and this is a great podcast, first intro, so I'm glad we did it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It was nice to see you guys again and nice to meet you.
Perfect. All right. Talk soon.